What's going on, everybody? It's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. It's Kings and Dreams back for another video. You see the title, you see the thumbnail. Why nice guys finish last? Or is it why are guys too nice? However you want to put it, the thing is that there is a limit of where guys are being too nice. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to have the ladies actually kind of have that conversation, wanted to hear from their words to your ears, right? And without further ado, we are going to get the show started. I just want to introduce my first guest, Ashley. How we doing?
Hello, I'm doing really well. How are you tonight, Kings and Dreams? Thanks for
I
having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for coming on. I highly appreciate it. I highly appreciate it. And
Absolutely.
and so I want to bring your friend and your colleague as well. Hey Sarah, how are you doing?
Hello, Kings. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I appreciate you both for coming on here. And
Yeah,
thank you so
thank you for
much. Thank you
having
so
us.
much. Yeah, so so let's just jump right into it, right? So the title, and I've had conversations about this previous to you guys coming on. And so let me just kind of I'll start with you, Sarah, if you don't mind.
Sure.
What would you consider a guy that is being what would you consider a nice guy? Let's start there.
Nice guy.
In
Well,
general.
I in general, I was gonna say I feel like you have a couple different tiers, but
Right.
overall, regular nice guy is like um kind of goes that extra mile for you before you've asked him to, or before you even want him to, or even if you don't want him to. You could just be making a simple statement like, oh man, I need to go have my tires rotated, and they immediately offer like, oh, I can do that for you, I can take you or take your car, or just do it myself. Even though you're not like really requesting that, you're just generally talking about it. Or somebody that kind of bombards you a little too much, even though you're like maybe on a friend level, and then they kind of start doing stuff to try to intrigue you a little more, but by just being overly nice. Not necessarily a bad thing, but they're trying to impress you with niceness because they're trying not to touch the like the sexual side of things. But yeah, yeah, I think that kind of clears that up.
Okay. All
Mm.
right. And Ashley, what say you?
I guess in this context, what I'm assuming anyways, which we didn't do a whole lot of like talking about this ahead of streaming. I'm assuming by like why does the nice guy finish last, or what's wrong with nice guys, or the something along those lines. I would agree with Sarah. I think that are we talking kind of about the simp kind of guy, the guy that's gonna, kind of just like what Sarah said, already bend over backwards for you before you've even proven yourself to him. Maybe that's kind of the connotation I'm getting from this. Again, that's kind of a loaded question because it really depends on the context here. But if that's
So,
what we're talking about, I guess that's what I would say as well.
okay, so all right. So what I'm asking really is just what would be your definition of a guy that's nice? Not necessarily a guy that's too nice, but just a nice guy in your interpretation in general.
Well, I think that the term nice guy carries with it a bad connotation, honestly.
Right.
So when you
Okay.
say that, that's what I do think of, you know.
Hmm.
That doesn't mean that I want or I would be attracted to, or that I would, a bad guy would be preferable. I just think that with, just like with a lot of terms, they've kind of taken on a new meaning. And the term nice guy, or nice guys finish last, I think in the dating market, that term has gotten that exactly what Sarah and I are saying. It's kind of gotten that connotation. Again, not to be misconstrued with like saying that like we're looking for some, or that all women want like some kind of an asshole or something, but you know what I mean?
Right. Okay. All right. So I'll actually stick with you there, right? Because you mentioned like a guy that's pretty much like an a-hole, right? So what would you consider like uh a balance of a guy that is not like nice, but to the point where he's not a pushover and not an a-hole? Where do you find that balance? Where does Ashley find that balance?
I find that balance personally the same way that I find that balance with my friendships, with my
Okay.
colleagues, with my family members. It's a good combination of give and take, in my opinion. If one side of the relationship, whether it be a friendship, whether it be a work relationship, family, whatever it might be, if one side of the relationship is always give, 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 and the other is always take, 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 I guess, in my opinion, then that's where that's where the balance comes in. So if we're specifically dating, and if it's a guy that I'm dating, I don't want you to be constantly just bending over backwards for me, trying to do something for me before I ask. I think that allowing the female, if we're from the male's perspective and from me speaking on female's behalf, allowing the female to kind of try it herself first, kind of test the waters a little bit. Don't come out immediately just being, again, the nice guy or the simp. I think that I think a lot of it has to do with experience. Some people are naturals at being able to judge or tell if they're being too much or too little. And and with women too, it's a really hard balance to strike a lot of times, because you do find yourself like I said, one side will be just doing and giving way more than the other side. And anytime that you have imbalance, it's going to, obviously, it's not going to be a very good relationship, whatever type of relationship that may be. It's going, one party of that relationship is going to feel one of a few things: either smothered, angry without exactly understanding why. And it just depends on which side it is. Somebody's going to feel taken advantage of, and somebody's going to feel smothered, basically. And I think that you just have to kind of start every relationship, whatever it may be. Obviously family and things like that are going to be an exception, but any type of relationship that you're going to start out cold and organically, I think that you need to start it with just judging the other person. Now, how much is he or she giving? How much is he or she offering? How much is he or she taking? And match that energy.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. And so same question for you, Sarah, and I'll just reiterate. So how do you find that balance of a guy being like too nice as opposed to him just kind of, just being like over the board, or
Right.
like an a-hole, if you will?
Right. So I think I'm going to kind of touch a little similar to what Ashley's saying,
Okay.
but I'm going to say it in kind of a different way.
Okay.
I don't want to feel like I can take an advantage of you, because if I can take an advantage of you, I don't feel like that's going to be fair, and I don't want to be that asshole either. So if somebody is per se simping for me, or they're just going over the top, being nice and nice and nice, and just always doing and giving and offering and all of these things, like, I'm not going to tell you no. Like, I'm not going to tell you, no, you can't go change have my tires rotated, or no, I don't want you to, uh, I don't know, whatever things these nice guys want to do. Like, now, and also to distinguish, like, chivalry is one thing, but being nice is another. Like opening doors, or pulling out a chair for a lady, like, that's chivalry. That's a very different world. But like, if you're just constantly doing and doing and doing, like, I I want to tell you no, but I'm not going to, because like that's to my advantage. But I also don't want to be that asshole that jerk that's taking advantage of somebody either. It's not fair, it's not right, but like, and it's hard to let them down. It's hard to say, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't, it's hard to reject somebody that's being so nice because you don't want to be that jerk. So when they're doing that, they're just kind of digging their own grave in a sense. And like, I feel like I would let it go on for a while, but eventually I'm going to have to be that bearer of bad news. And it's not going to be good because they're going to be like, gosh, like I did all of these things for you. I did this, I did that. And it's like, well, I didn't ask you to. You just did it, like, again, I'm not going to tell you no on doing something, but I didn't ask you to. And then also you're going to have a harder time finding your balance in the scales between your roles as male and female, because if he's constantly giving and giving and giving, then how can she like play her feminine role by giving as well? Like, how can she she can't give you a massage because you're always massaging her. She can't make you dinner because you're always making dinner for her. She can't do like these little lovable actions for you because you're always doing it for her. She doesn't even have a chance to be feminine. She's just kind of being given a bunch of stuff. And that makes it even harder because then like it's almost like a guy would be putting you up on this high pedestal. And it's like, I don't want to be up here. I want to be down here with you. I want to put you up on a pedestal too. I want that ability to be able to do it. So you're kind of like locking a girl in a very, Ashley said the word smothering way. But not only just smothering her in a way of like, I'm going to do and do and do for you, but you're smothering her in a way by you're not allowing her to be a true female, like to be feminine and do things for her man as well. So
I'm sorry, I want to touch on that. Sarah, you took the word right out of my mouth. I was sitting here thinking before you said it, I was thinking of all the times that I get, I guess a little snarky or combative or, shitty with men. And it's usually those men that are putting me in that masculine role because they're acting like little B words.
I know. I'm trying to like.
Only for you, kings, because I have a potty mouth.
All good. But yeah,
sailors.
No, all good. But on a serious note, like the main things that what you both had touched on, I would say polarity and Sarah mentioned femininity and then masculinity. And so I think that I'm gonna get to that in a minute, but for the guys that are watching, right? And we as guys growing up, we were actually taught to be nice, get her the flowers and all of these things. And it's like you give her the validation and she hasn't earned that validation yet. And so the thing is that you're doing too much to earn her respect, but you're actually losing her respect, right? And so, but before I go any further, I just want to jump in the chat really quickly. So I just want to give a couple of shout outs to some people here. But definitely great responses so far, ladies. Felicia Jordan says, hello and welcome to Kings and Dreams channel. Please wipe your feet at the door. Definitely make sure that you guys like and subscribe.
Thank you, Felicia, for sharing our channel too. You're a really good mod. I've seen you in action, and you're great. Thank you.
Yes, Felicia. Yeah, Felicia was so quick story. Felicia was my first moderator, and so I'm actually gonna jump ahead because had it not been for Big Boss Real Talk, who gave me the $5 super chat, salute to you. He's actually how I got my first moderator. So salute to you, brother. Let me just read this super chat. So shout out Kings and Dreams on reaching 1K subs and getting monetized. Shout out to the sexy and intelligent Ashley. Hugs and kisses. Real talk. Shout
Bossy
out to you, Big
Bossy
Boss.
Boss and I have had some moments.
I
love that guy.
I'm sure. Yeah, man. Yeah, big boss is a real one, man. Salute to him. Another one of my moderators that's here, Tim Howard. Salute to you, brother. I definitely appreciate you. My man, 90s versus 2000s type of vibe. Oh man, I definitely love what you're doing with the documentary. Guys, definitely make sure that you guys check out 90s versus 2000s type of vibe on Instagram and on YouTube. And yeah, this is my man Ray. He is he's a barber, owns a barber shop in New Jersey, and he's very, very popular, man. He's doing this thing, man. So salute to you, brother. I appreciate you. Primal Studies is in the building. I see you, brother, man. Salute. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for pulling up. My man, Big Cap. Ayo, what's good, everybody? A nice guy. Oh, as a nice guy, I finish when I finish because I set my own rules. Okay. You know, I hear you. I hear you. But the thing about it is, so not necessarily a pushback, but let me just kind of give my perspective, right? So with Big Cap, I would say maybe you are being courteous, because there's a difference between being courteous and nice, right? So I think it was you, Sarah, like when you said like could have been Ashley, I'm sorry, but when you said
chivalry.
like, yeah, chivalry, right? Chivalrous. So yeah, chivalrous is one thing, right? But when you're just going over and above, when you guys maybe haven't gotten to that certain level yet, it's like, all right, now the disrespect comes through, right? You know what I mean? So
Right. Can I add another piece into that, Kings?
sure.
You know, it's reasonable to say that a guy doesn't just fall in love at first sight, right? I mean, they can certainly be in adoration, but you don't like it's not reasonable to say that you fall in love at first sight. So when a guy like off the bat, out of the gate, comes off that strong and they're that into you, it makes a girl very skeptical on why is he that into me that fast? You know, is he impulsive? Is he not rational? Is he not thinking this through? How many girls does he just fall in love with and do all of these nice things for? It doesn't make you feel any more special than the girl before you. So that's kind of another piece to it. You know, whereas where a guy takes his time getting into, you know, helping out or doing something or just, you know, being nice in general, when he takes his time and it takes like more than 3 weeks for him to like go out of his way to do something for you, that tells you, okay, like maybe this is actually special. He's doing this because I'm special. But if he's doing it all the time, he's done it for everybody. It's not special. He just does it.
Well, so that's interesting that you say that. So that kind of goes into what Primal Studies was saying. So nice guys are hoping to get something in return. Nice guy is a grift. So this is what I will say, and I agree with both you, Sarah, and Primal Studies. Salute to you again. So what I would say is that, like, I think that it can be a grift, but I also think that there are just some guys that probably don't get the female attention that they deserve, so they think that they have to go above and beyond to keep that female. So like, yeah, I can definitely see it being a grift or a swindle, if you will, but there's some guys that just are not able to get that female attention. So I agree with that.
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
Smell it. You can smell the desperation on someone.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Oh man,
and it's not even a challenge. It's not a challenge. Like it's not fun for somebody to just like kneel down and kiss the ground you walk on. It's like, God, I didn't even do anything for this. Like, why are you doing this for me? You know, but and I'm not saying a challenge like he never texts you back or anything like that's not what I'm talking about at all.
Energy.
Matching the energy. Like if you give a little, I give a little, you give a little, I give a little, like, you know, for somebody that gives a little, I'm going to give back a little more. Right. And then they're going to probably respond the same way and give back a little more. And it's a slow increment kind of concept. But if you give me a lot, now I feel obligated. And I'm like, I don't want to give you that much. I barely know you,
right.
You know?
Right.
And it just kind of makes a person
I
feel
feel
almost
sexually
obligated.
turned off.
Yeah, it is a turn off. It is
Say
very
that
much a
one
turn
more
off.
time,
It,
Ashley.
it makes me feel sexually turned off.
Say that. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't want to have
Absolutely.
sex with you now.
Mhm.
And isn't that the
Absolutely.
point, right?
It's just
Absolutely.
too
You're doing
easy.
all these things because you wanted my pants, but
Mhm,
you're shooting yourself in the foot because it's unattractive.
Right.
mhm.
Absolutely. That's the thing. Guys, if you do too much too soon, what Ashley just said, and just I love the way how you just ripped the band-aid off. Like, you're gonna be turned off. You're not
Mhm.
like, guys, trust me, you're not gonna get where you want to get behaving how you behaving. But let me just jump to this next super chat. My man, where's Men's Lux magazine, Kings and Dreams? Great topic tonight, man. Salute to you, my brother. Definitely, man. Salute to you, brother, man. I appreciate it. And man, we're Men's Lux magazine. We got some things in the works. Can't wait for that. But we gonna keep it quiet. Oh wow. Okay, hold on. So got another guest that I'm about to pull up. Man, this is gonna be a good conversation.
Ooh.
Man, so we all know each other. We're all friends, great colleagues, and I appreciate you, Miss. Um, Better
Yay,
Bianchi. How we doing?
Mika!
Hi guys.
Ooh, you looking
Mika,
good
God, you look
tonight.
stunning.
Girl, I'm beat. I've been
You
working
look
all day.
stunning.
I'm
I'm so
like,
happy to see your face.
Oh,
It's-
girl.
I really appreciate you girls. I'm like really excited. I was excited that you guys were going to be on the panel, and I was trying to make it on time.
No worries.
Aw.
No worries.
I
No
didn't see your
worries.
message till later.
This is a
I-
great subject for you too. Minka
Oh,
has
yeah.
so much wonderful insight. I talk to Minka a lot behind the scenes, and
Mhm.
this Better Biatch right here gives me some amazing advice. She's talked me
Mhm.
through some really shitty things, vice versa, vice versa.
Vice
but-
versa, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, but she is such a well-rounded, level-headed female, and
Shut up.
everybody is honored to have her here tonight, Minka. I'm so happy you're here.
Watch out, we're simping for you now.
We are.
No, it's
I'm
equal.
just gonna go
Not-
refill my coffee, guys. I'll be right back.
It's
No,
not
you're
simp-
all good.
it's not simping when it's equal. And I think it's like all around, all four of us on this panel, we all know each other pretty well and like respect each other and like back each other up, so it's good stuff. So I'm excited about the conversation. Let's keep going. I don't want to like
It's been
derail.
really fun so far. Maybe I don't know. We've answered some questions.
Yep, I got
So
it.
maybe-
Don't worry.
yeah.
I got it. I got it.
Sorry, I'm so
You're good.
used to hosting my panel. I'm just like,
No, I
Zoom.
got it though. Don't worry. I
sorry.
got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. Well, so before I get back into the chat, Minka, so what we talked about was so the first question was that what do you consider a nice guy? And so what would you say in your words?
Liar.
You said I'm a liar?
No, I said I consider a nice guy a liar. If
A liar. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like here's the thing, like I don't like it's just kind of like the rule of mine, if you will. Like and there's a difference. Like there's nice guy and there's a good person. Nice guy is overly simping. You can do no wrong. Oh my God, I love you so much. Oh my God, you're so different. Oh my God, I can't wait till we are married and have babies and like all that stuff, right? A
Mhm.
good person is just going to be real and authentic. And there's a very big difference. When I come across a nice guy, I run. I'm like, I gotta run.
All right, and so the second question is that what is the balance? Where do you find that balance between a guy that's being like too nice and then a guy that's being like an a-hole, if you will? So what is that balance? And then that's kind of where you came in. So just bringing you up to speed.
I'm just closing some stuff I have on the background because I can hear my computer crying at me.
You're good.
I will say that there is a difference and it is a fine line, but it just comes down to assertiveness and honesty, really. Like I think that if someone is like honest with me, they're going to say what they really want, and I may or may not like it, but I'm going to respect it, right? And
Mhm.
so, like, there's been situations where I thought a guy should be like, oh, but I want you to do X, Y, and Z. And they'll be like, no, you have the wrong guy. And a lot of times, what has happened is in my younger days, because I'm 31, unmarried, like, that's the troll life. Um, it's not I'm troll, but the trolls love that part for me. Anyways, it's in my experience what I thought I wanted versus what I received when there's that assertive factor, but it's a good person and I don't feel like they're trying to intentionally hurt me or fuck with me, but they're a man. It ends up turning me on even more to that person, whether it's romantically, intimately, whatever. I'm more prone to that than I am someone that's just going to be like, have whatever you want. I got you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. Yeah. So I mean, all three of you ladies seem to be in alignment with that, and so
May I?
you may.
To add to what Minka said, and I believe we've talked about this before, Kings, but to add, I mean, you basically said exactly what I was thinking, which is that we'll go back to a man being a leader, a true leader, and a true leader. You know, if you're talking about again, I like to go back to like what are we looking for inherently inside of ourselves is like who is going to be, you know, the husband, the father, the leader of the household, the leader of the person that you can lean on, you know, the rock. And so I think what Minka was saying basically that's kind of the way I would word it in you know for myself would be like I'm not looking for the nice guy. I'm looking for the leader, you know, the true leader. And that leader like Sarah touched on earlier, he's chivalrous. He's good to you. He treats you with respect, but he's not a simp and he's not an a-hole, you know.
He's like, look
Yeah.
look here, woman. This is how it's going to go
He's
down. And he's like,
respectful and respectable
get over here. And I'm like,
man.
Well, and to add on to that,
You're funny.
if you
That
don't
was funny.
mind, adding on to what Ashley is saying too,
Yeah.
if you're looking for a leader, but somebody's doing everything for you instead of like that makes me feel like I'm in the leadership position. Like I'm going to ask you what to do and you're just going to do it, or I'm going to tell you what to do and you're just going to do it, you know. And my ex-husband is my ex-husband for that very reason, because it got to a point where I just made all of the decisions and I got tired of it. I got tired of being the one that, you know, like made the decisions throughout the household, you know, whether it was, you know, financial, the household in itself, the kids, the schools, the, you know, where are we going for Thanksgiving? What do we do? You know, like all of these things were just decisions that I just made, because anytime I asked him, what do you want to do? It was like, oh, well, whatever you want to do, you know. And men, like, stop asking us what we want to eat. Just tell us. We don't know. We really don't know. And that's why we want you to just tell us. Like, it comes down to that very simple concept with
I
that.
disagree with everything you just said.
Whoa.
I do. So for me, it's the total opposite. I think the reason, a huge reason my marriage ended was the total opposite. He was the one having to make every single one of those decisions that Sarah, that you just said. And Sarah and I know this, obviously we've known each other for 17 years, but, so in my experience, that's why I said earlier, it's the give and the take, the push and the
Mhm.
pull, you know what I mean? And when it comes to what I want to eat, I will be making that decision.
Right. But that's
I'm
when
just kidding.
you're,
I'm just,
but
but no,
that's what,
but I
but
mean, I'm just saying it can go both ways. It can
yes.
definitely go both ways.
And that's where we have to find the balance.
Yep.
Because your balance, you were imbalanced, opposite of my imbalance.
Exactly.
Whereas if
I just
we
thought it was
both,
important to point that out is all I meant.
yes, absolutely, it can definitely go both ways, where the man is just making all of this decisions, or not asking, you know, hey, you know, do you want to talk about this? You know, we have these options. What do you know, what do you think
And
we
I
should
think
do?
that
And then
there
you talk
are men
about
out
it.
there that are like that, that want that, just like there are women that
Mhm.
do, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I would suffice it to say that each one of us on this panel, perhaps does not, based on the way we're talking. I don't know.
Wait,
Well,
that's
I
not what? I'm sorry.
actually
Say that last part again. I missed that.
That maybe perhaps each of us on this panel do not want it to where just one member of the relationship is the one doing everything and making all of the decisions, right?
Mhm.
No,
Right.
well, I mean, for the only man on this panel, I definitely want to be the benefactor. I mean, I understand what you're saying, Ashley, where like your husband was making all of the decisions, and maybe he didn't seek your input from time to time. But the
No,
thing
I
is,
felt like I was a burden to him because of that.
Mhm.
oh well,
Not
see,
not in that way. Like I feel like
well,
he
I
felt like he
mean,
was raising another child.
Well,
Mhm. And
here's the thing, and this is no slight to him or anybody, but there are just some men that just like being a leadership is not for everybody. It is not for
Mhm.
everybody. So, but I do want to just jump into some of these comments because I see a lot of people in here, and I just want to show some people some love, right?
Mhm.
Let's see here. So good and nice are two different things. I completely agree with that. And then he says, good equals oh, sorry, it's the polarity, my fault. Cortez Smith, man, what's going on? I appreciate you coming through. And let's see. Just because you're a good dude doesn't mean you have to be nice. Yes, this I completely agree with because you can be a good person, but not overtly, not overtly nice. So, like, I would consider myself chivalrous, but I'm not like I'm not going to be jumping over
not a
hurdles.
doormat.
Yeah, no way, no way, no way. All right,
I do
so.
want to. Oh,
Nope. Hold on, Ashley. All right, so please like and subscribe to the channel. Definitely make sure you guys are hitting that notification bell. Let me read a couple of more of these, and then I have some more questions for you, ladies. My man, time to retire. Definitely salute to you, man. Definitely make sure that you guys check out Time to Retire's channel. Anything that you want to know about Thailand as far as rental properties, purchasing homes and things like that. Time to Retire. He's definitely got it, man. So salute to you, man. Big cap again. Oh, I get it. Nice guy is for single men. Yeah. I mean that's basically what it is right there.
Linda, maybe you're having trouble with like the definition of nice guy because we also went over that before you joined the panel too.
Mhm.
Who?
I was
Me.
talking to Linda.
Oh no, she's caught up. I caught her up. She's good.
no, I didn't hear the definition of nice guy. You asked me my definition, and mine
Yes.
is something
Yeah.
that's
So yeah, but what I said was that all of you guys alluded to the same thing. Right.
So we're talking about, I guess, the stereotypical the nice guy.
Mhm.
right, and that's
The simple.
that's yeah. I'll let you finish your comments. I do want to say something on the other though.
Okay, cool. Keith Jenkins, definitely salute to you, brother. And I see your channel is growing, so I appreciate you for popping through. Let's see. All right. So sorry. So you said you had something that you wanted to say because I was going to go into my my next question. Go ahead.
Yeah, because it's really funny that like I actually love that like Ashley and Sarah, because I watch you guys are like besties, and like it's kind of like me and my bestie were completely opposite, where I was more assertive and dominant and she was more feminine, and we've really like learned from each other, right? So she's learned to be more assertive, I've learned to be more submissive, and I feel like I'm in the between with both of you, because I do want a man to lead me. I would like a man to take care of things and handle things, but also if he needs me to provide or do something as well, to ask me to do so. And I like, you know what I mean? So like I think I think at the end of the day it still just comes down to assertiveness, because like with assertive doesn't mean dominating. And actually what you're describing is just dominating. It's like overkill where you don't even get to like feel like a like what's the word? I don't know how to describe it, but I know what you're saying, because I've been in that situation too, where it's like over dominating. I can't even like breathe. And then I've also been in the situation where I was choosing everything and I hated it because I felt like, damn, like I could just hang out with my girlfriend. Like um,
Right.
and that's why I like the word assertive, and like, because it doesn't mean dominating, and it doesn't mean allowing a person to just take over. It means that man has his own decisions that his own likes, his own quirks, his own belief system, and me saying I like this isn't going to sway him just because he likes me. I think that's the attractive factor.
Gotcha. Okay. No, that makes absolute sense. All right. So my next question is, and I'll start with you, Ashley, is that what so do you think that when is there a point where a guy is actually too assertive? So let's go there.
A point that he's too assertive.
Yes.
Um,
Like when is it where like a guy is being too conservative? I mean, conservative, assertive. Don't worry about your cat. It's all good.
a point that he's too assertive. I don't. God, okay, that's the reason it's difficult for me to answer this question is because I am such an assertive person myself that I find, and I know I was talking about my ex-husband, and Minka, I see what you were saying, but that, I guess to clarify, that's not exactly what I was talking about with that, because I'm still very assertive and kind of a decision maker, but when it came to handling the actual hardcore responsibilities is where I fell short, and that was where I really learned my lesson, and I know now that I need to pick up the slack on that end. But a too assertive is something that I don't know that I've even really found, because I'm so assertive and so outspoken and so opinionated. That's very difficult for me to answer, honestly.
All right.
Maybe assertive isn't maybe the right adjective.
Right word. Yeah.
You're right, for me to answer that, because I'm assertive. I've yet to meet a man that's more assertive than I am.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Just saying.
All right,
but that doesn't mean.
Wait a minute. Okay,
Yeah.
So I'm a bit confused because you said that your ex-husband, that he was handling all the decisions, right? So you know, I guess
I guess we would have to define assertive in this context, is what I'm getting at. My apologies.
Okay, so all right, so you said that like you felt that maybe you were a burden to him. So what I'm saying is that where is it to the point where a guy is too where a guy is asserting his dominance, if you will, too much? And you're saying that you've never reached that with a guy before. Is that correct?
Not a guy that I've been in a relationship with, no.
Okay. All right. Minka, what say you on this one?
Uh,
I can ask the question again if you.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Getting
So the question is that where is it that, like, where is the point of where a guy is being too assertive? Where is that point where it's like, okay, you know what? Like, I want you to be assertive, but now you're going overboard. Where is that point?
when it's being disrespectful.
Okay.
That's really all it comes down to. So like I feel like if I'm in a relationship with someone and I'm like my shirt today, it's like kind of like deep V-neck, and if my significant other says like, I really don't like you wearing that, that's up for discussion, or he could even say like, I can't be with you if you're wearing that. I think that's assertive. But then there's, you need to change right now, and that's overboard. That's like, now you're just controlling me. You're not, this isn't even a conversation. It's, you know what I mean? I think it's when it becomes less of a conversation and more of a demand, that it kind of treads that fine line of like, I still have feelings. I'm still human.
I still think we need to redefine the adjective we're using here.
I think so too. I think you're on that.
There's nothing wrong with being assertive. There's absolutely nothing.
I think you need to go in opposition of being a nice guy, and instead go to like, what type of a-hole.
Well, someone
qualities,
left
you
a
know.
comment in the chat that I really liked. Assertive versus.
Hold on. We're gonna get there.
Well,
All right.
Okay.
Hold on, Ashley. I got this. Don't worry. All right. So all right. So now say what you were saying, Sarah.
Well, I'll speak to the assertive concept.
Right.
I'm just going to look at it in a different word view,
Okay,
or
sure.
a different definition. But I think you're going down a rabbit hole of being narcissistic. So a guy that would be like what Minka was describing, who would tell you, I don't like that. I'm not, like, you're not wearing it. You're not leaving this house without it. That's manipulation. And it's manipulation by, like, demeaning you, degrading you, making you feel less than. I mean, you might as well just, like, call her a hoe because of what she's wearing, right? So you're making her feel less than by putting it in words of, like, I demand that you wear something different, right? That means, like, I'm better than you. I understand the world better than you. You don't. That's why you're wearing this stupid shirt that I don't approve of. And I have been in a relationship very similar to that with somebody who basically tried to tell me what I wanted. Now, this person kind of came in and out of my life throughout. God, I was like 19. Well, I think I was like 20 when I first met him. And he kind of just kept popping in and out. But early on, I allowed him to tell me what I wanted and what I should do and what I shouldn't do. And I believed it. And then more recently, now that I'm in the middle of a divorce, you know, of course, that little black book starts to open up and people from your past pop in. And he tried to kind of do the same thing. But of course, I'm wiser now. I've been there before. I understand things better. And I was able to really call that out and say, like, no, that's not what I want. Why are you telling me that? And I don't want anything to do with you because you're trying to manipulate me to believe that I should be like I should be like a sex slave to you, and I should want you, and I should like do all of these things that accommodate your lifestyle, and I should be this and I should be that, and it's very narcissistic. And even though he probably viewed it as being assertive and alpha and dominating, really he's just narcissistic and manipulative at the end of the day. Like, nobody wants to be with somebody that just comes in and makes you believe that your values, your principles, what you want are wrong. And I don't think that you know, Minka hit the nail on the head when she said respect. Because if you're not respecting my wants and needs as well, and you're not willing to, like, give back, then it's too much. But again, it can be skewed as being assertive. So I understand why you're using that word. I just don't think that that's the right word to describe men like that.
Okay, understood. All right.
May
I do. I'm sorry.
May I?
Hold on. I gotta get to these super chats. Give me 1 minute here. Oh man. Salute to my man Tim Howard. Congrats on the 1K subscribers. Thank you so much, brother. I definitely appreciate you. My man Simon. Simon Hectic out of the UK, man. Also check out his channel. Shout out to you with the €5. I appreciate you. Tim Howard again with another super chat, man. Not sure when you got monetized, but congrats, brother. Yeah, man. It's been like two weeks or so, something like that. And so, yeah, man. I'm just excited. We are just getting started, man. We are just getting started. All right, go ahead, Ashley. You had something you wanted to say?
Yeah. So what I want to bear with me, my camera's going to turn off for a second. So the definition of assertiveness is a healthy way of communicating. It's the ability to speak up for oneself in a way that is honest and respectful. Okay, so that's why I had an issue or a trouble kind of saying, because I speak up for what I believe in, and I'm always honest and respectful. So that's the definition of assertiveness, and so I think that's why I'm having trouble answering this question. I think that's why we're all having trouble answering the question. That's all I wanted to point out.
Well, I think they I think that you all answered it to the best of your ability, and so I guess I was trying to find the right word. That's why I was saying like overtly assertive. So assertive one thing, but overtly assertive. So what is too much, right? Because
Too much
that,
be
that
respectful and honest.
I'm
I
sorry.
think
I
I
know what
think
you're trying to say.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
getting
yeah, I don't,
off
I,
on
yeah, I don't want to harp on that because like there's a lot going on in the chat, so I want to move on. But I think Sarah, you kind of got close to basically what I was trying to get at, like where being overtly too assertive, or where is a point of you being too domineering, if you will. That's what I was looking for.
yeah.
yeah, I think
Over,
the word shifts into
respectful,
aggressive, maybe.
and those are
Right.
all opposite of the definition of assertive, and that's just the reason I had trouble answering that question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So I think that we might have looked at it too literally, but I think that we, I think that we all, well, we all, but you all answered the question to the best of you guys' ability. So I definitely appreciate that.
Thank you,
Right.
King. You're awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You are all awesome. I appreciate that, man.
Thanks
I
for having us
appreciate that.
on. This is awesome. I'm having a good time.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I want everyone like to have a great time on my channel, because I like important conversations, right? And so some of these conversations are important to have, because the thing is that there are some guys that don't know when they are being too nice, and then they're like, oh man, like I was so nice, and then I got ghosted by this girl. This girl stopped texting me. She stopped calling me. Went on a few dates. We had a great time. And it's like, what happened? Well, this is what happened because, you were too nice, and you're not trusted, or you haven't been with enough women to know where you are just giving too much validation too early. There needs to be a level of polarity. And so this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have you ladies on here tonight. So I definitely appreciate the three of you coming on. And I think that this is a great conversation, very
I
educational for
think
men
there's
and women alike too.
I think there's something to be said about, so earlier we touched base on like, you're not going to do quote unquote too much until she has earned it, right? And
Yes,
I
correct.
think the reason I think that the connotation of that language, and this isn't me, and I'm going to elaborate in just a second, but I think that a lot of women can take offense to that language because they think, oh, I have to earn it, blah blah blah. But what they're not doing, what we are as women and men are alike are not doing, is saying that like, well, the man also has to earn it, right? We're both doing the same thing. Each one of us has to earn it, so to speak. They have to earn the right to be treated a certain way, and you treat someone a certain way, and by certain way I mean the way that you would treat a partner, a lover, a best friend, and a companion, right? Somebody you want to be in a relationship with. You don't need to come right out the gate treating them that way. Like you were saying earlier, Kings, I loved it. You're like, I'm not going to show up for the first date with a bunch of flowers, the guy you shouldn't take her to a $200 steak dinner for the first date, in my opinion. That's just my humble opinion, but but it
know,
goes
that's a
vice
fact.
versa. Like women,
Unless you're in that
suck
dating pool, like
yeah, don't go sucking him off on the first date either. You know what I
Whoa,
mean?
whoa! Wait a minute! Wait a minute! Wait a
But
minute!
we each have to earn it.
Wait a minute! I didn't say that. See, wait a minute. See, you had me until you.
I
you had
love
me
how
until
that
you
backs
said
up
that.
real quick.
Yeah, you
well,
had me
no, I
until you
think what
said that.
Ashley's doing
Knock
is
that one right in there.
I think what Ashley's doing is she's bridging the polarity, and there's a gap where like you have two extremes of like some women that say like, I need a man that's gonna wait for me 90 days before I give up the cookie, and then you've got a man that says like, I need to see the receipts and stalk her to make sure she's not an actual whore before I even spend a dime on her. They're just two extreme polarities, and that's okay. Everybody's journey is different. I think what she's just saying is that like there's a flip side to every coin. And it's just, I think for me personally, it's just like finding your people, whether it's friends, whether it's relationships, whether it's business, whatever. Because I think that it also depends on the woman, because like
What you're looking
I'll
for,
tell you,
right?
I do want to Huh?
It's also what you're looking for, right? Like, am I looking for a hookup or
That's
am
why
I
I was,
looking for
yeah.
a relationship?
Yeah. Go. I'm
Well,
sorry.
not
Go
just
ahead. Go ahead.
that, not
Amika.
just not just that, but it's, I mean, you're hitting it on the nail, because I'm pivoting off of what you said, which is some women that I know want to be a housewife and want to not have to worry about anything, right? And that assertiveness is going to make her attracted to that type of man. Whereas you have someone else that wants to go 50-50, or she wants to have her freedom of being able to think for herself, or wants to pay the bills, or wants to, like, whatever it is that she wants or he wants, right? It's not going to always match. And I think that's what it always really comes down to, is trying to find out what matches for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
All right. Sorry, guys. I see you guys in the comments, and I'm trying to get to you guys, but I definitely appreciate that everyone that is here. Make sure that you guys are sharing the video, liking the video, and subscribe to the channel. Also, definitely make sure that you guys subscribe to Not Your Everyday Ashley's channel. The link right there. Definitely make sure that you guys subscribe to her channel. Let's get her monetized as well. And
better be out there.
yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I got this. I got this. Trust me, I got this. Don't worry. I got this.
I'll just shut up. I'm sorry.
No, you don't
I don't
have
even
to
know what
be
I'm
quiet, but don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Trust me. I
I'm
drive
cool.
this ship and I drive it well. Don't worry. But yeah, so I think we got a link for Better Biatches, and let me just scroll down and make sure that we do got that. I want to make sure that we do got that. If we don't, let me know.
I love how we're talking about back scratches in the comments. They're like, I believe in back scratches on the first date.
Oh my god.
I scratch your
Self,
back,
you need to
scratch
let the host
mine.
handle this, Self. You need to let the host handle this.
I'm like, let's scratch backs.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh man, my man QB Passport flexing. Salute to you. Great stream.
Hey, how's
Man.
Mexico, man?
I think
Killing
he's
it.
back, but
I think he's
what he
still out
said,
there.
I'm about to hit the sauna and get all of this alcohol out of me. Well, nope. He think he's still there.
Told you.
Right.
I'm like,
I
think he's supposed to be out there for like 2 weeks.
Simpy. Big Boss says Simpy. Yep. Yes, absolutely. For private consultation with myself, contact me via email, kingsandreamspodcast@gmail.com. If you are a first-time traveler, and if you are looking to travel in Medellin, Colombia, or if you are looking to get property in Medellin, Colombia, definitely make sure that you reach out to me via email, and you can also contact me via Instagram as well. All right, let's see. Hold on. Let me see. Big Boss. You gotta respect the legends of hip hop legacy. Yeah, man. That documentary that you did, brother, was very good. Very, very good. All right. Oh, here it is. Thank you, Self. All right. So definitely make sure that you guys subscribe to Better Biatches channel. The YouTube link is below. Definitely appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you for dropping that link. All right. So I'm gonna stop the comments for here for now. But my next question to you ladies is, and I will start with you, Sarah, is that when is it that, like, when you are building up with a guy that you can say that you start to develop a level of sincerity?
To develop a level of you should always be sincere.
No. Like from his side, because one of the things that you said, like when a guy's being like too nice, you don't think that he's being sincere, right? So my question to you is, when is it that like there's a level of sincerity being built?
Well, I mean, I mean, you should always start off sincere. If you are sincere, true to yourself, true to them, like you're respectful, then it's gonna work itself out just perfectly fine. I don't
Oh,
think there's, I think like, are you sincerely asking me out on a date? Yes.
well,
Okay.
that's true.
Are you sincerely going to have a coffee with me? Are we sincerely having a conversation? Is it
Yeah.
good? Is it enjoyable? Or are you sitting there just saying anything I want to hear? Like, sincerity starts from the very get go of a conversation. Now, do we put our best foot forward and make the best first impression? Absolutely.
Yes.
But be sincere about it. Like, a nice guy would come off like, if a nice guy asks me, "Oh, what's your favorite color?" and I'm like, "Oh, my favorite color is blue." And they're like, "Oh, my favorite color is blue too." You know, even though his favorite color is really orange or something stupid like that. Like, that's not sincere, and that is the response of a nice guy or somebody who's just saying what you want to hear, being agreeable at all times, and just doing any and everything to go out of their way to do that. It's not sincere. Whereas if you're truly having a conversation and you ask me, "Oh, what's your favorite color?" and I say blue, and you're like, "Oh yeah, mine's black." Cool, you know, like we could be a, I don't know, black and blue. I don't know. Like you know, you're acknowledging the differences, you're going off of that, you're, you know, feeding into each other's likes, dislikes, and things of that nature, and that's sincere to have an
Mhm.
honest conversation. And that should start from minute one. And once you sway away from that, that's when you're either going to be too nice of a guy because you're doing any and everything just to be agreeable, or you're going to be a jerk, you know, because you're not being sincere, you're not being respectful, like you don't sincerely care about that young lady because you're treating her like crap. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I don't really feel
And
like that is a question.
well, so okay, so let me ask it. Okay, so let me ask it in a different way, right? So and you did kind of touch on it, and so I guess what I was going to say was that um now, yes, everyone should be their genuine self, but when is it like, okay, you know what, like I'm actually starting to believe who this guy actually says he is and what he does? Because the initial thing is, yes, sincere about taking you out on a date, right? Sincere about getting your phone number, sincere about conversing with you. But when do you start to believe that a guy is truly sincere about being with you? That's what I was getting at.
I mean, I don't think you can really actually put a timeline on it, but I think that that is personal preference between the two people in the relationship that they're establishing. Some relationships can start off very slow, and you start off, you know, as college, you know, classmates or something, and you develop that sincerity early on before a relationship, before uh, like boyfriend girlfriend relationship even starts. You're starting off as friends, you're developing that trust, that respect with each other, so like moving into a relationship you already have it established. Whereas if you're starting off and just like you got his number, he got yours, and you're going on a date or things of that nature, I mean, that's something you develop, and that comes down to each person individually, and that relationship and how genuine you are to each other, your principles, your values, are you matching that? But I don't know if there's like necessarily a particular point, because that, like, my personal preference may be one thing,
Yeah,
whereas yours may
that's
be
what I was asking.
completely,
Sorry, not to interject. I was asking you, Sarah.
oh, like, what is my
Yes.
I don't see, that just comes down to the person I'm with, you know? I mean, maybe they have some little pink, I like to call them pink flags. Like, I'm not going to call them out as red flags yet. Um, but, you know, they may have some pink flags, and that may make me skeptical about them. Or maybe I just haven't had time to devote to them. But I think, I think like every girl just knows that moment when it happens, and it's individually based on the relationship. They're all different. Um, you know, like, you could just have that aha moment, or they come in as the knight in shining armor one day, and you just like, wow, oh my gosh, like there it is. But I don't know. I think that can differ moment to moment. I think it just comes down to, have they been respectful? Have they been caring? Do you want to do as much for them as they want to do as much for you? And if you find yourself wanting to give somebody something, or like, I want to do this for you, or like the caring concept, like if they're hurt or somebody passed away in their family and you're truly like want to be there for them, I think that's when you find your moments. But they can all vary.
Gotcha. Okay, definitely. I appreciate that. And so Ashley, I'll go to you. And so I'll ask the question. I'll try to ask the question a little bit cleaner. Thank you, Sarah, though. All right. So the question is that when you are dealing with a man, right, where do you feel comfortable in his true level of sincerity?
When he's proven to me that he's honest and sincere time and time again. I think that for a lot of us, especially those of us, and I do read chats. So someone earlier asked how old we all were. I'm 36, there's 35, Minka's 31. So especially once you pass, I think, 30 plus years old, I think that most of us, men and women alike, have been through enough to know we can smell bullshit when it's around, right? I'm a really good bullshit detector. So for me, you're gonna have to be consistent, honest, and sincere with me time and time again. I'm not saying you start out guilty until proven innocent, but the minute that I see you slip up, and the minute that I kind of get that bullshit meter going, I know there's good reason for it. I'm experienced. I understand these things, and I know how a lot of us are out there, especially, in the dating market, or, just being in the YouTube market is one thing in particular. You start to see certain patterns from certain people that you run into here and there, and you can see a pattern, and you kind of put it together, and you're like, maybe that person's not to be trusted. So for me in particular, you're going to have to show loyalty and consistency, and it's going to take time. That's my answer. Does that make sense? Or
Yes, no, absolutely,
okay.
absolutely, it does. No, Sarah happened to be the guinea pig of that question, if you will.
Right?
So I cleaned it up, though. All right, so Minka, what say you on this one?
When do I feel like a guy is being sincere with him wanting more serious trajectory relationship with me?
Yes, correct.
I actually have this advice from my mom, that she always said that when a man truly loves you, he will share his time, his money, and his power with you. And it doesn't mean like letting you walk all over him, but like, and not taking care of everything in every aspect, but he's willing to, you know what I mean? And I have experienced that, where it's like, even when I was starting my business, like fucking years ago, I needed a big ass monster laptop, and I didn't have the finances for it, and I was struggling, and my boyfriend at the time got me the laptop that I needed. And it wasn't like he didn't say he wanted anything back, he just wanted me to do good, that he believed in me and stuff like that. And I was like, it's like, it was rare for me to like hear that from a man. And so it's just, I kind of always stuck with that. And it's always like Ashley said, like the consistency factor is a big portion, though, because it can happen in the beginning, and then either party, men or women, can get complacent and then not value what each person brings to the table.
Absolutely. So that's correct. If like, yeah, once we start to share like our resources and things of that sort, then that we are serious.
That's a good, yeah.
I do have to say too that like when I've thought about it too, what women give to men is like themselves. Like
Yes.
I know it's not talked about enough like in the manosphere, but like when a woman is actually in love with a guy, you see it all the time. Like we go to bat, we're like we put up with a lot of things. We're like it doesn't matter that the world hates you, I love you. Like it's and that's kind of like what the exchange I think is like when in terms of valuing what you value for men and women.
Yes.
Yeah. And to add to that, I think that a lot of times when we do find a man, or a man finds us, we find each other, would be the better way to say that. And the energy is genuine, the relationship is genuine, and the roles are very evenly healed, right? What Minka said to like a woman gives herself to him, I feel that, Minka, because in my marriage, it was 12, almost 13 years. And when you say give yourself, I felt that hard because like I legitimately, I muted a lot of things that are really inherently Ashley, like all this stuff people say about me being masculine and all these, what, all these things though. But like, if you find the right man to balance that energy out, like you do tend to kind of become a little bit more complacent, or like Sarah was saying earlier, in your feminine energy. And I think it's when guys are being little, biatches, that you kind of get out of that feminine energy and you kind of get a little more on the defensive mode. Because any real man I've ever dealt with, like any real, true, genuine man, I've not treated that way or felt that way about. So that's a really interesting, it's a good point.
Well, it's
Absolutely.
also for the women. Like, I forgot what I was going to say.
All right. Well, no worries, no worries, no worries.
That was awesome.
While you are thinking about it, I did get another super chat. My man Ray, 90s versus 2000s type of vibe. Women need a challenge. Bottom line, man, say that. That's the
Oh,
thing, because if you don't, and so a challenge meaning that like if you are just going to be a pushover and not and not assert yourself without being overly domineering, then it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And like I know Ray, so that's why I can speak for him. I know him personally, so we've had conversations about that. So I know exactly what he meant by that comment.
I like that comment.
I actually remembered what I was going to say.
Go
Because
ahead.
it's again, I feel like I'm pivoting off of you a lot, Ashley. It's so we talk like with women, amongst women, we talk about that a lot. When you meet a man that's like providing and protect, especially when they make you feel safe and like you can trust them, our masculine just kind of like calms down and we're just like, oh shit, I feel real vulnerable. But I've also seen it with, and I think that's the big portion of like the men's movement thing, where it's not enough women have been allowing men to be the man that men actually, what we're seeing, especially in my belief system in our society, is the men that are being walked all over, manipulated, giving women whatever they want. It's really like men have not been allowed to be that. How do I say this? I had to learn in my early 20s when I was dating that I wasn't allowing men to be men. I would always pull out my card and try to pay. I wouldn't let them open the door for me. I was just very much like, I can do it myself, right? And that deterred a man from wanting to be a man, which was the very thing that I wanted, was a provider, a protector, all these things. But I wouldn't allow it to happen because I kept on pushing that masculine side of him away to the point where I over dominated. And I think the same rule applies for men, is what I'm saying. When the feminine energy comes into a man's life, it can bring him to his manly side.
It can bring him to his knees.
Wait, what?
I don't mean that in a bad way.
Oh, you mean loving?
In a wonderful way. Like it can bring him to his knees. And I think
like
that
both, like
in a good way. I don't mean like I mean in a good way. Like it can bring him to his knees if you really truly get that connection with a woman and you are privy to that subservient, feminine, wonderful energy. you know, where she's going to let you take control, let you have the lead. But it's a dance, it's a tango. It takes two to tango, right? There's a reason why these things are sayings. But I mean, it can bring a man to his knees, but at that same time, he can still be a effing man. I'm respecting King's.
Oh, well, that AdSense is over. You might as well
Can I
go
say
at it now.
he can be a fucking man, for
Oh,
God's
boy.
sakes. He can be
It's
a
all
fucking
good.
man at that point. And I love it. I love it. There's nothing wrong. Like when a man in my, like I saw, you know, I was married for whatever, I'm going to say it a million times, but yes, I've had a lot of experience with being married and to a very masculine, dominant man. Like he was very much so the protector, the provider, yada, yada. And I still respect him a lot to this day. But like, there were times that I can look back on and I brought him, you know, metaphorically to his knees, you know, in a beautiful way. And I don't know. I think that men are scared to be vulnerable with women. Women are scared to be vulnerable with men, and all the rhetoric and all the shit that's going on out there. It's driving us all apart, and we can't trust each other.
So,
We're having
okay.
it coming together.
Sorry, go ahead. My
No,
fault. Go ahead.
Sorry, thank you. I'm done. That was it. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, and I'm just gonna respond to that, but I just wanted to give a quick shout out to my man TSG Uncut. I definitely appreciate that. He says, I never saw that work. Even when I was in the military, I was required to have a plan. Yeah, definitely, man, for sure. Men always have to have a plan.
What work? What is he referring to there?
He was, you know, he was talking about a comment earlier about men not having a plan. That's what he was talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I just wanted to shout him out because that's one of my people. But so when you say that men don't want to be vulnerable, well, the reasons why men don't want to be vulnerable is because being too vulnerable, you know, at one point or another, and a lot of men will definitely attest to this, is that like it gets thrown back in our face later. So that's why, you know.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that and kind of it's a double-edged sword. So again, I also said that women don't want to be too vulnerable either. All I meant was that we're both kind of having this you know, headbutting, you know, going on in society, going on social media, going on with the radical in my opinion, I'm not a fan of the new age radical feminist movement. I'm not at all. I know that I might portray something that would tell you otherwise. I'm just my own breed of cat, okay? But I'm not a fan of it. I'm a fan of men have their place and women have their place. I just think that with everything that's been going on over the last few years, those places, they're completely lost right now. Not completely, but overwhelmingly. They're overwhelmingly lost. People are having. Go ahead, Sarah. I can see.
It's almost like we kind of lost our way in the mix of it. You know, like the feminist movements kind of took women to like a little too far over the line, and it also like pulled men far behind it at the same time. And you see this almost like role reversal between, and I don't mean like doing dishes and working on the car. I mean being masculine and being feminine. And you were kind of touching on that earlier, Ashley. You know, like when a guy does the right things, it makes you want to be feminine. It makes you want to be that girly girl and just like let him kind of take over and be the man and be the leader. But we've kind of lost our way in that because, you know, there's, from what I'm gathering, there's this kind of feminine attitude has changed to a point of what Minka was talking about. I wanted to put my card down. I wanted to pay for things. I wanted to, you know, offer this or do that. And it's making it even harder for like women to know when to pull that back. It's okay to have that masculine concept when you're alone and trying to get through the world and being a leader on your own and finding a career and doing that when you're single. But once you like start dating somebody, that's when you have to like learn to switch back, because like you kind of need that masculinity to get through right now, like to be able to like make decisions in your own life, and being a single person and having to kind of take the reins of and take control of your world. But when somebody else comes into it, you have to be willing to hand some reins over at the same time. And I think that's where that big issue's coming from with this kind of swap, or almost like a lack thereof, or a unwillingness to give that back.
Yeah, you
Gotcha.
know what I like to say, Sarah, the chicken or the egg. You know that's my saying.
Yeah.
What came
Yep.
first? We're
Yep.
we're literally going through the chicken or the egg paradox right now.
Yeah, I was. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. I gave up on women. I did. I'm in the manosphere because my only hope is that the men are gonna stand up and be men again. That's literally like. I'm like, I
Yep.
can get paid on it,
I'm opposite.
whatever.
Absolutely.
I came in here because I hope that women, and I know I have a reputation. I know what people think and what they've said and commented. It is what it is. You see clips of somebody here and there. You don't see their everyday life. And that's why you have to continue to push on and just, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to give up. My message is my message. And I want women to know that it's okay, ladies. It's okay. It's all right to be vulnerable. But who's gonna start, right? Like, again, I said the chicken or the egg. So if both parties are wrong, then who's going to start the movement? We have to work together. We have to work together. Like, let's get back together. Let's bridge this divide, because it's bullshit. I don't like it. I don't like where society and dating and marriage and all of these ideologies and all of these things are going. I don't like it.
I mean, I've been saying that for like the past like 3 years, verbatim. It's like legit, but that's the part where it's like, I gotta say, like, theoretically, I want to be an example. I want to show women that like it is possible to, like, it doesn't mean, I think we've been fed this narrative that you like, oh, I'm going to meet a man to heal me, and a man's going to meet a woman to heal him. And I think it really comes down to, like, get your ass up, go do the work, whatever therapy you want to go do, whatever kumbaya shit you want to go do, you want to meditate, you want to look at the stars, whatever works for you, as long as you get to a healthy spot where you can heal those emotional wounds to come into a relationship healthy and be able to be nurturing or providing or protecting. And I, like I said, like, I will say though that, like, I can't say that I believe that the women are going to do it anymore, because I'm like, generally speaking, I'm not talking about the women on this panel. I'm not even talking about the women in the manosphere. I'm just talking about, I live in LA. Oh, my dad's calling. I live in LA, and it is general all across the board. Get the bag, OnlyFans, use that man, get him to buy you a Birkin, get you to buy him a fucking car, whatever, have him pay your rent. And it's the only place that I'm like hearing people, non-sexual like orientation, I'm not going off of bias, but the only place that I'm hearing people talking about, I want to be in a traditional relationship, I want to have a family, I want to have a husband-wife thing, I want like the companionship, I want the loyalty, is in the manosphere. It's not in feminist. So I have to say that, like, I'm here because I'm just here supporting the guys, and hopefully more women come and support the guys to be able to have them be men in our society. Because what's happened is that shit made it go so far left that when I've been on, people ask me all the time why I'm single. LA men are like beta, like 100%, and I can't even fault them, because all the shit that happened, I get asked, even if it's like the most amazing date, I will be asked, is it okay if I give you a kiss? Would that be okay? It takes the whole manly side out of it, and they didn't do that to themselves.
I'm going to disagree with you, Minka, on a lot of what you said. Although, I mean,
hold on. But before we get there, sorry, I do got to jump in really quickly. I just got to read this super chat. Shout out to my man Chapapa TV. Hey man, thank you for allowing me to actually host your channel while you were away, man. I definitely appreciate that. Make sure you guys subscribe to Chapapa TV. And he says, congrats on monetizing. But some of these points got me scratching my head. One is their first instinct is to show masculinity. Wow. So I'll actually let you take that, Ashley.
Yeah, thank you. So absolutely, the first instinct is to show masculinity. When a woman is single, when a woman doesn't have a man or that masculine energy in her life, then who is there to protect her? Who is there to be the masculine person? Who is there to give her that energy? She's going to give it to herself, and she has to. Now, again, I say chicken or the egg. I'm not saying what came first, this radical feminist movement or the men that are hating women. Like I don't know what came first, but I know that it's toxic. I know that it's becoming toxic on both ends. And I've said this a million times and I'll say it again, but I think that this new wave radical feminist movement, it's causing good men to potentially become bad men, and it's causing bad men to potentially become dangerous men. I really do. And this is just talking about that aspect of it. And I think it's women's fault. It's all the hate out there. I think it's bullshit that women can get on TikTok and get on YouTube and they can make content promoting men unaliving themselves. But if men even utter the F word, fat, they're canceled. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not okay. This isn't okay. We are not promoting equality is all I'm saying.
That's why I said I gave up on the women, because like generally
but yeah, that's where I disagree. Like I am going after the women. I want to. I get the women.
No, you're both agreeing.
Yeah, we're both agreeing.
No, we do.
Yeah.
It's when I say I gave up on the women, it means I'm not in a feminist movement trying to persuade the women to come over. I'm just speaking facts, but I'm not going to be speaking it the way that a lot of content creators speak on women. I'm just giving facts based off of my experience. I also know that like there's a lot of women that do still want traditional relationships, still want a man to provide, still want those things
out here.
Huh?
They need a voice out here.
Well, and that's the part though, but all three of us know, talking on this specific subject, how much hate do we get?
Nope. That's where I'm saying I disagree. I'm going to keep persevering. I believe.
I'm not saying that.
I got 2 new female subs today, and they left comments on my channel.
Right, but that's not what I'm saying. Yeah, what I'm saying is, okay, so all three of us have enough energy to like speak up for what we believe in, right? No cap, like all three of us. I'm saying I've like you, I've also had female subs that it's like they're actually agreeing 100%. But do they say anything, or are they still too scared to? Because seeing what happens to us, that's what
maybe they're talking to their friends. Maybe they're talking outside
real world.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I
all right.
hold on a minute. Hold on, Ashley. Because so I agree with that because I have females, whether they be relatives, colleagues or whatever, and they watch my channel and they agree with my talking points, but they don't come out publicly and actually say these things to their friends, right? Because they don't want to affect the sisterhood or be known as a pick me and what have you. And I think that's what Minka was alluding to. And both of you,
I know it was.
Hold on, Ashley. Both of you were saying kind of the same thing, just at a different angle. Because two people can be right. Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna table that for another time. But
can I add?
Shout out to THPP Network for the super chat. I definitely appreciate you for pulling up, man. He says, Minka based no cap.
Is based a bad thing or a good thing?
No, it's a good thing.
Good.
It just means you're valid.
It sounds like such a bad thing.
I
keep thinking it's so bad.
Minka, I have replaced the word based with valid.
Though, but if we all have that mentality that then nothing's ever going to change. No revolution and nothing good ever came from saying that I can't continue to do this or do that. It just doesn't matter.
No, but
the guy walking along the ocean, and he's throwing the oysters in, right? There's oysters that washed up on shore, and there's thousands of them, and he's going and he's picking one up and he's throwing it and he keeps doing it and doing it. This other guy comes along and he goes, why are you doing that? There's thousands of them. You know, you're not making a difference. And he picks one more oyster up and he throws it in the ocean. And he said, it made a difference to that one. That's all I wanted to say. That's how I feel.
No, I agree
Okay,
with
all
you.
right. So all right. So listen, we because that like back and forth is like I get it. But there is a question, and I do want to get into the chat, you guys. So Chapapa TV has another question for you, and he says, so actually, basically, our energy has to clash before you fall back. I think he
don't
meant
quite
say our
understand
energy,
that.
but he said our, but it's okay. But so
Our-
actually, our energy has to clash before you fall back.
I don't get it.
No, I think that is a complete misrepresentation of anything I've said, to be quite honest. But I understand where he came, how he got to that conclusion.
Okay.
I do. And again, if you ever try to put yourself in the other person's point of view or their shoes, which is what I've been trying to do for months now, by trying to understand the manosphere and men and why I and other women have had these feelings for so long. And again, I'm going to go back to the chicken or the egg, like what came first, you know what I mean?
Right.
We can't actually define that, but what are we going to do to fix it? And no, our energy doesn't have to clash, not whatsoever. I just get very passionate about it because I'm very serious about the content. I believe in what I say, and I really do want to make a difference. And I understand, I know how it comes across. I do. I'm a passionate person. What can I say? You should see me in the sack.
I bet. All right. Let's see. All right. So I'm just gonna jump here into some of the comments here. I'm sorry, not some of the questions. I know there were some other questions here, so let me just jump around. I definitely appreciate you guys jumping in the chat. Hey, listen, do me a favor. Everybody, do me a favor. Share this video, like this video, and subscribe to the channel. And hit that notification bell. Let's do that right now.
How did I come to subscribe to you, Kings? Like, I know that where was it we met on? And I came onto your panel and like immediately I told
I thought it was the Bachelorette.
Yes, yeah, you actually kicked me off the first round.
But look at us now,
But
baby.
then she saved you later on my round.
Oh, did she save me or
remember the girl?
No, I don't know if she saved me or the Raging Tomato just like the king. That's all. But we gonna table that for another time. Now I'm messing around, but no, it's all good. But yes, absolutely. We
I was just trying to
but that's how we met. And shout out to the Vital Message. I saw him in here commenting earlier, but I do want to get to some of these questions. I'm sorry. Did you say something?
I said, "What up, Skadoosh?"
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Salute to him. There was some questions in here. I know you guys were talking about like sandwiches and stuff like that, man. But
dude, I am so hungry.
I know they were talking
all
about.
of that.
Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Another one from Chapapa TV. Why are there masculinities? Why are they masculine? I think he meant to say like, yeah. Why are they masculine in women? Why are they masculinity in women?
I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back to what earlier because.
No, hold on, Ashley. So
yes,
let me go with Sarah on this one, if you don't mind.
No, I don't, because I'll just repeat myself anyway. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
I mean, like, think about it. Like, females aren't living with our fathers until we're married off anymore. Like, we're coming out and we're going to college. We're living in dorms by ourselves or having a roommate, and then we're getting apartments and getting our own jobs, and we're having to support ourselves, financially, mentally, physically, spiritually. Like, we have to make all of those decisions for ourselves. And if we don't like own up some sense of masculine energy when we do that, then we're not really going to get too far in that aspect. I mean, and I'm not saying femininity is not independent, and I'm not saying femininity cannot like pay her own bills and do her own thing, but masculinity, if we really look down to it, we've already talked about how it comes down to leadership. And are you leading yourself? And as a female, you have to take leadership. You have to take ownership. You have to take accountability and make your own decisions, and until a man comes along to break that little piece down, you're gonna have to kind of stay in that little bubble a little bit. Now, does that mean that you treat men less than or anything like that? No. But sometimes you have to kind of take a more assertive role to ensure that you're not getting left behind, or you're not getting doormatted, or you're not getting, I don't know, like, just to make sure that you're still staying true to yourself and taking care of yourself at the end of the day, because you don't have a partner yet. You don't have a man to give that feminine energy to.
Okay.
Maybe Ashley has something.
Actually, I was gonna go with Mika on this one, only because I actually took the last one. That's why.
Ashley takes all of them. It's all good.
Did you have anything to add on this one, Mika, or did you want me to go to another question?
Oh, it's the same reason that there's femininity in men.
There's what?
There's femininity in men.
Oh, okay.
You know,
wait, you mean like feminine men?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah.
So, like, I'll give it to you this way, right? So, like, I feel like I finally came to a place where I'm in a balance of, like, finally in both. I can be feminine and, like, I don't feel like I have to prove anything anymore. And I feel like I can, like, you and me, Kings, we've gotten into disagreements, but have I ever really, like, popped off on you or anything like that? No. Because I don't need to. But if you ever came at me we've seen that people come at me sideways and I stand my ground, but it's not something that I have to do. And in fact, most of the time I still get shit and I don't do anything about it because I don't feel the need to anymore. Right. So it's the balance. And there is something to be said about men being in touch with their feelings. It doesn't mean to be emotional or to be vulnerable and cry in a woman's arms, but it does mean to be able to, when I say be in touch with your feelings, meaning there's a lot of guys that are like terrified of love and will fumble the bag because they don't, they can't put themselves out there. They're too scared of it or whatever it is. And I'm not saying that's every guy, but there are like that. And it comes down to like how we were raised. So like, I know for me, I had a lot of issues with my mom and my dad. And so I felt, and the world was tough. And so I felt like I needed to be tough to protect myself. Right. And when we see that in a lot of men, it's usually from overbearing mothers that didn't allow them to be a man. Right. And there's actual studies based off of that and how parenting affects a person's ability to either be dominantly feminine or dominantly masculine, because even as women, it's not necessarily a good thing when we're primarily only in our feminine, because of the fact that we'll be taken advantage of, because of the fact that we'll be used and mistreated. And it's the same thing for men, because if they're too much in their feminine energy and all lovey-dovey, same deal. They get taken advantage by women, they get manipulated. It really comes down to having a balance. But that's why I always talk about like whatever. I don't judge. I feel like I've done everything. I've done hypnotherapy, therapy, self-help stuff, kumbaya meditation stuff. Like I've had enough experiences to understand that every time I did that, it was like a new door opening where I was like, oh, I remember, I'll tell you this story just to like kind of give a understanding. I never realized I had a feeling of like something was missing until I started doing real deep work where it's like you like relive any trauma or things that hurt you that you felt like you needed to protect yourself essentially. And I remember after doing that, I had an issue with a friend that we were having a falling out and she was coming at me and I'm on the phone with another girlfriend and I'm like, and that's why I'm mad. And I stopped because I realized like, where's that feeling? I'm so used to having that feeling of anger, of like coming at someone else for being hurt, and it was gone. So like it was literally one of the first times where I monumentally felt that on such a level that I was like, where I'm instinctually saying this is why I'm mad because I'm used to doing that, but that feeling wasn't there. And that was like the beginning of like my true elevation of like, oh, okay. And that it plays a big part on relationships, because if a man comes at me and has a bad day, or I feel ignored, or whatever it is, and I don't fix those things in me, I react. And what does that do? That hurts that man, because then if I'm in my masculine, I'm belittling, I'm fucking justifying, I'm arguing, I'm super combative, just all around, just really aggressive, right? And so that's kind of what it comes down to when I say like men and women need to stop like blaming each other and do that inner work, and then it'll see change. To me, it's just like be an example and it'll happen. Like it's I don't think it's like a thing that we should be blaming either side for. I think it's just something that happens. We were born that way, you know what I mean? And it's, I think at a certain point as an adult, this is actually a line that I heard in therapy. At a certain point in your life as an adult, you start to decide to be a victim. That narrative is something that you choose. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but when it was told to me, it's very much like, you're right, I'm not 5 years old, I'm not 10 years old, I'm not that age where I was hurt and I was a victim in my mind, and I continue to create that narrative in my adulthood. No one's pushing me down except for myself. So it's I fucking real long stroke in that. God damn, sorry.
You're all good.
Because
You're all good. You're all good.
Can
Let
I
me
elaborate
just.
on that because I didn't answer this
No,
one.
hold on, because I got some super chats I got to address.
Wait, but Ashley didn't get to say it though. She's the only one.
It's okay.
Oh,
It's fine.
Oh, she didn't. Oh, hold on.
I
Okay.
didn't, but that's okay.
But let me address. Okay, let me
Yeah.
address. Actually, no, because one of the super
No,
chats
I'm
has a question. No, one of them has a question. So
Yeah.
actually, no. Go ahead, do your thing. That's my bad. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Oh, I was just gonna say I've seen kind of what Minka was saying and what Sarah was saying earlier. I've seen kind of the same thing, but coming from men, especially since I've been in this space, it's a lot of times if you don't, I guess, bend to the will of the man, especially in this space in the manosphere, then they're going to basically punish you for that. I've experienced Sarah's experience. I have no idea if Minka's experienced or not, but Minka and I are fairly new in our friendship, but Sarah and I have definitely been attacked quite viciously. And so when we want to talk about coming at it with your masculine energy or with any type of defensiveness, a lot of times it's reactory. Like we're reacting because a lot of men in this space, whether they say they want to talk to and understand and be with women or really understand women and have these based, intellectual conversations, what they resort to at the end of the day, a lot of times if they don't get their way or if they feel rejected in some way, shape or form, is honestly, in my opinion, very catty like behavior where they just come after you and attack you. And I've seen men in this space have more just silly, backstabbing, catty behavior than any woman that I've dealt with in the last several years. And that's all I want to say.
Well, this is what I will say. They're like, don't surround you. Look at Sarah eating, but it's all good.
I know,
They
right?
made me so hungry.
You're
They
good,
kept
you're good,
they
you're
kept
good,
talking
you're good.
about sandwiches, and I'm like, I have a really good sandwich in my fridge right now. I have to go get it. So I'm
No.
sorry, everybody, but it's your
Oh
fault.
no worries.
Can I
But
eat
no, what I was
cookies?
gonna, what I was gonna say, and then I'll jump into the super chats is that, yeah, I mean, in any walks of life or whatever, you are going to find men that are going to have that feminist, that feminine type of energy. And what I would just say is, just stay away from those type of men. That's all I
Yes.
would say. Just keep it moving. Shout out to my man
That's good
Chapapa.
advice.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just said that's such good advice. It really
Yep.
is. I always really like everything you have to say. You're really, really you're non-biased. You're very fair. You're just a good guy.
Thank you. Well, thank you. I mean, my thing is that if it, if it's something that is going to waste my time or it's going to affect my peace, I don't deal with it. That's just me. But man, my man Chapapa TV, sorry for the typos. My keyboard was in Portuguese. Man, shout out to Chapapa TV, man, holding it down in Brazil, man. This is a true expat, man. He was living in the Dominican Republic, took the leap, went to Brazil, and he's doing it, man. Hey, Chapapa, man, I don't know if you I don't know if you know Austin Holman, but he's in Bahia, Brazil, and I'm linking up with him next week. So maybe I could connect you two, but hit me up on the WhatsApp and we'll talk about that, bro. All right. And then 90 versus 2000 type of vibe. Thank you for the super chat again. So ladies, do women want to see in two? Oh, okay. He did the oh man, thanks, man. You didn't have to send the you didn't have to send another $2, but I'll take it. But all right. So he says, what do women want to see in 2023? And then I will actually go back. You know what? Let's start with Mink on this one.
So I actually want to say something though, because it's actually off the other thing, and I will answer this because it's a part of it too. I do have to, and I like I said this in the Discord, right? Where it's the feminist movement was a feminist movement, right? And that's what it was. I feel like because this is the manosphere, like I don't claim any of the pillows. I've aligned with them. I'm aware of them. I understand them. I can like support them, but I don't feel like I feel like I would be hindering the manosphere and what it's supposed to be if I actually claimed any of them, right? And a part of that is as women in the sphere of the manosphere, because I've been I'm still being trolled, you know, on a like regular basis. Like I'm starting to get calls now on my phone with like people like making kissy noises and like weird shit's happening, right? Which is interesting, but like that kind of comes with the territory, because one of the things that I've seen is that like as women I am guilty. I'm going to talk about myself because I did this, and I came into the manosphere, and like I had people that I worked with and we did content and stuff, and they would tell me things like, oh, we're protecting you and stuff, and I'm like, I didn't really realize what they meant by it until I came on my own. And the reality is like the trolls are 100% real, but it's the manosphere, and that's what they do. Because if you actually look at, like you said, Ashley, like they're fucking I'm like, they're mean to me, but then I look at how they are to each other, and I'm like, dude, you guys are fucking ruthless to each other. Which also brings me to remember that it's the manosphere. It's like a giant man cave. So I feel like as women, if we're going to come in here and actually support it, like there is a certain level of like fucking duplicity that we have to provide in order to support it, and understand that like it's kind of like how they say boys will be boys, men will be men. They're a fucking man cave. They do fucking crazy shit, and they're meaner to each other than I think they are to us at times. Even though it's mean, I will say it's sometimes mean, but like I don't know. I just see the side that it's like it's the manosphere. It comes with the territory kind of thing, and I think all three of us have done a really good job at like laughing at the shit that happens now, but like. What do I think women want to see in 2023? I don't fucking know. I don't know, because most of the women in my age group and older are sitting at home on this spiritual kumbaya bullshit of like, a man's gonna come and find me and I'm gonna meet the man of my life. And like, meanwhile, men are like sitting in fucking rooms with like PUAs and like experts and reading books and investing 5 to 10K on like consultations and like and doing mathematical equations to understand what can possibly get them to a woman better. Meanwhile, the women are sitting at home being like, I'm the shit and I deserve everything. And like, it's like totally like from what my experience, again, I'm in LA. So like that's my experience of like seeing the total difference. So I don't know what women want to see.
Okay. All right. All right. And then I will go with you, Ashley, on this one.
Yeah. I want to see more sandwiches in 2020. No, I'm just kidding. I love the chat with the
Yeah,
family.
yeah.
I second that.
Don't worry about the chat. Go ahead.
I'm just teasing.
Okay.
That's my style. But
All right, no worries.
what I would like to see more in 2023 is less blaming each other and attacking each other, and more actually working together. That's what in my ideal world. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see. I'd like to see you actually practice what you preach. I'm huge on that. I try. God, anybody that's ever followed my content or subscribed to my channel, or hell, Sarah, you, Minka, I mean, just a little bit we know of each other. I will fucking practice what I preach. And you better believe it. Like, there's not going to be any behind the scenes, backstabbing, conniving ass little sneaky shit. Like, I want to see men and women be actual men and women to each other, respect each other as people, and stop with all this cattiness, because it's just nauseating, to be quite honest. And all that it's done is turned me off of the manosphere even more. I've seen more men act like little bitches in this space than I've ever seen a female act in my life anyways. But you are who you surround yourself with. So there you go. But I would really like to see men in this space be more like Kings and Dreams. Kings and Dreams is based, he's legit. And there's many other content creators out there that I've collabed with, been on their platform and vice versa, that I find keep a very realistic base panel and actually speak the truth. And they're not out there playing games or trying to get, accolades or control people. And that's what I want to see more of. I want to see more mutual respect. Thanks.
All right. No worries. All right, Sarah, you are up.
Now I'm finishing my brownie.
Oh, my bad.
It's good. It's good. I would love to just
looks so
see
good.
women be women and men be men. I think we're trying too hard to play both roles in a lot of different aspects. And that just makes it harder, because now it's almost like we're competing for who can do both, who can be better at this or who can do that. And I think if we just stick to who we are, with like feminine energy or masculine energy, and stop trying to like mesh it all into one big thing, it might actually turn out okay. Again, I'm going to go back to like single women do need to have some sense of masculinity to like stay in the leadership role of themselves, and men, like Minka was saying, have to have a sense of femininity, because like they have nobody to like emotionally support them in that aspect. But once you come together with somebody, like, shut that other side down. Let the man be masculine, let the female be feminine,
right now
over me. Yeah, I mean, like, and I'm gonna say this, I learned so much, and I haven't really spoken to my learning lesson as much as Ashley has spoken to hers with her marriage, but my learning lesson was that I tried too hard. I feel like I was kind of put in the position, but I also tried too hard to just stay in that leadership role. My husband at the time gave me the power, and I just rolled with it instead of giving it back to him when it belonged that way. And I think that, like, now going forward, I'm almost kind of afraid to really date anybody seriously, or, I mean, quite honestly, try. Like, I'm just kind of at that point where I'm not feeling it, because I'm not ready. I'm not ready to hand over the reins yet. I'm not ready to, like, I don't think I've really found my feminine roots and where they once were, to be able to give up that masculine energy, give up that leadership role, and come into a more feminine role. And I think that's a lot of, where I messed up in my marriage, because I swapped over. I kind of switched gears and came out of the feminine role and took on a more leadership type of characteristics. So, like, I'm scared shitless to get out there. And I think that a lot of women need to acknowledge that piece of them. Like, it's okay to own it and be that early on as a single lady, but once you like meet that guy, you have to switch gears. You have to go back to allowing somebody else to take on the leadership role.
Well said. Well said. Thank you all. Thank you all for that one. Oh man, thank you for the super chat, my man Tobias the Traveler. Definitely make sure that you guys are checking out his channel as well. Did a collab with him. What was it, about 2 weeks ago? Oh man, that was a very good collab, man. So salute to you, man.
I'm gonna
And,
have to hop off of here pretty soon. I've got a
no worries.
super early day tomorrow. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, no
I'm
worries, no
sorry.
worries. No worries, no worries, no worries.
I will be.
We're about to close out anyway.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was So well, I planned on it being 90 minutes, but do you guys, so it's like we're at the 150 mark. You guys mind like rocking out another 10 minutes? Can we do that?
That's fine. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
Absolutely.
All right, yeah.
I'm gonna have to just cam off for just a second to take
Do
care of
what
something.
you got to do. It's all
I'm
good.
so
It's all
sorry.
good.
One
You're
second.
good. You are all good.
Thank you.
All right, and but as I was saying, definitely make sure you guys subscribe to Tobias the Traveler's channel. I did see some questions in here. Let me just scroll down. Some legit questions. I see you guys are having some fun in here. It's all good though. All right. Okay. So Chapapa TV again. Do all three women regret not coming to this realization sooner?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Who said that?
Me. Like,
Sarah.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think it's a piece of why my marriage failed. I mean, there were a lot of other factors involved, but I think if I had come into the marriage, and stuck, like, I started very feminine. I really respected my husband so much, and I just kind of let him. I allowed him to be the leader. He was the provider. I was the wife and the mother, and I kind of like am mad at myself for stepping out of that role, kind of mentally. Because I think had I stayed with it, not to say that we would still be together. I do think that it would have still ended just on maybe in a different direction, but I think it would have had a better chance of staying together. It would have had a better chance of working if I didn't try to like manhandle him, to say the least, in a lot of ways. But I am glad it happened because I learned so much from it. And now I know what I don't want to be, in a relationship. I know I don't want to be the leader. I know I want somebody to basically tell me what to do in an aspect. And so, yeah, there is a form of regret, but there's also like a form of growth and development that comes with that as well. So, if I had discovered this in my 20s, I don't know. I don't think it would have worked the same way. I don't think I would have understood it the same way, but it hits a lot harder now.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And then I am going to go with Ashley. Unless Ashley left. I think Ashley said she had to step away, so my bad.
No, I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Do we regret? Yes, I've actually said this many times. Do I regret not coming to this? It depends on which realization you're speaking of specifically, because we've touched on 500 of them tonight. I've had a few other realizations tonight, though. Every time I do content like this, I certainly have these realizations. I'm glad that I'm glad that my ex-husband isn't like some of the people in the chat tonight. I'm glad that he isn't, because I'm very fortunate that we still have this wonderful relationship, honestly, even though things didn't work out. There are definitely things I regret and wish would have gone differently, for sure. I've been very, very open about that, and I always am. But one thing I don't regret is that he's not a total fucking narcissistic dickhead asshole. I love that about him. I love that we can co-parent, and I love that I can still call him right now. We can chat, we can text, we can do all these things together as a family because he's not an insecure little bitch. And I'm just so fortunate that that's the way he is. But yeah, I do regret many things, from my past and from my marriage. I wish that I would have been a better woman, but if you guys aren't teaching me anything, it's to be tough. I will give you that. So that's all I have to say about that one. Oh, we can't hear you, Kings. You're muted.
I muted myself. Damn it. Anyway, but I was saying,
Going in and
Mika,
out. Sorry.
I know you have to go, so
Yeah, sorry.
no worries. But if you did want to kind of just respond to that and then give your final thoughts, and then
Respond to what?
I'm sorry.
If I regret, are you
Yeah.
talking here, Ashley?
Yeah, we couldn't hear you at all, Kings. Who are
Okay,
you?
you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So this was for Minka. What I was saying was, if you wanted to respond to that question and then give your final thoughts before you leave.
Oh, sure. Do I regret not coming to this realization sooner?
Correct.
Which realization?
The realization of how things are today. That's basically what the question is. In the dating world.
It's kind of weird because I've always been like a relationship girl, so I didn't really have a lot of experience in like throwing my hoo-ha everywhere. And even like recently I've had probably like 3 partners in the last year. A lot of the guys actually know about them because I'd come back on the panel and I'd be like, oh, this happened. But it not necessarily actually, because of the reality is like I'm 31, right? So I've never been married, never had kids, didn't go down that road. It's just an age that, like I haven't had the time yet. I think I'm just at like the cusp of like, how do I say this? I didn't have such shitty experiences, not that anyone else did, but I didn't have such shitty experiences that it like turned me into like an angry woman or trying to get the bag or coming to some sort of realization. However, one thing that I did not do is, and that I actually learned from the men in the manosphere, is a lot of things that I was lacking as a female to be a better pick. I know it's like shitty to be like supposedly shitty to be a pick me and stuff, but like I can tell you like one right off the bat, I was already working on allowing a man to be a man, but when it came to being reasonable and being like even having the conversations on here, right? You gotta go through a lot of fucking dick slapping to like get to a place where like shit doesn't really bother you, and you realize like, at least for me, I realized that a lot of the things that the men in here were telling me were for my own betterment. I just couldn't hear it because I was so defensive. And like it's stuff like letting a man be a leader, submitting to a man, obeying, needing a man. Those are all phrases that when I first came in here, I was like, yo, this is for sure misogynistic, like fuck this shit. And now what it has taught me is actually like the beauty in that aspect. Have I had some poor experiences? All of us have, but like I also now see the beauty in it, of even in my work life. Like I'll tell you straight up, I used to see, actually Kings, we talked about this before, I used to see being a woman in my work area as like, they don't respect me, they don't appreciate me, no one thinks I can do the job that I'm able to do and so I felt like I had to prove myself twice as hard, right? In every aspect. And I learned from the guys here, it's like, no, I was given an upper hand, 100%. If they don't think that I can do the job, even better, stay like a fucking fly on the wall and then shut up and do the job. You're going to get ahead just by being, I'm going to get ahead just by being me, right? That's something that I didn't see the reality of in the sense of just being a woman or even like a decently attractive woman, right? I really played on that narrative in my own life against myself that it was hindering me. The other thing of like the submitting to a man aspect, it's I was so fiercely like thinking that I had to be the equivalent or bring something to the table like a man, that itself was taking away from the beauty of men, right? It's meaning like I can lay down, I've talked about it before, like I did my Airbnb and I can lay down floor, but it's not nice enough. It's not as nice as when a man does it. It's not as fast as when a man does it. It's a protector thing where it's like, yeah, I have can I say the thing? Pew pew. No, I don't know.
Oh yeah, GUN.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have one and I used to be like, oh well, I may be a single female living by myself, but even regardless if I have one or not, there's nothing compared to having a companion that's a male that I love, that loves me, that wants to protect me. There's no replacing that, right? And I think that's the biggest value that I don't know that I would have been ready to learn it yet, because I had to do, like I said before, I'm really big on having like an inner healing thing, and I don't think that I would have been receptive to be able to have that yet. So it's like I said, I don't have any regrets about it because I think everything I've gone through has gotten me to the place where now I'm able to like really, really, really appreciate men for what they bring to the table, and also acknowledge as a woman what I can bring to a table instead of trying to compete for that same aspect. That's something that significantly changed for me. And I swear to God, you can go look at old content of me, and I am a lot of the guys in the chat that I used to like do content with, and we'd go on panels. I was on like the feminine standpoint, being an independent woman, not needing a man, all these things. And to hear myself saying these things now, I'm like I'll say this. Being in your and I was in my masculine energy for a long time because I felt like I had to prove something. As a female now, with that balance and being in my feminine energy, to be able to say these things and think of it so beautifully that it makes you want to tear up is fucking out of this world. Like I'm happier now. So I don't think I regret anything. I think that I'm right on time, and I think that like I'm really actually ready for like an actual relationship, and I want to bring even more to the table than I already did before. I cook, I clean, I like sex, all these things, but now I can appreciate a man the way I never could have. I don't think I could have before. Ooh, I'm like, I don't say, I'm like, haven't been saying this like out loud, really.
No, that's great. That's great. And so what are and so really quickly, shout out to Not Your Everyday Ashley for the $1.99 super chat. She says Minka is hot. So Ashley did have to drop off, guys. Thank you so much, Ashley, for being on the channel. But and I know you have to go too. So what are your final thoughts?
I think that this is what I've been saying. I think that we're in a trajectory where like our humanity is gone in society, and it's been a lot of the stuff that's been implemented in our society that looks really good and does have benefits in some aspects, but then it turns out to go the complete other way, and it becomes really toxic, right? And I think that the more we have conversations like this, the more that we have examples of people like not just feeding into a narrative, but use your discernment. Go do your own research. Go do your own spiritual whatever. Talk to different married couples. There's a lot of different things that people can do to try and get to whatever their truth is. My truth may not be a lot of people's truths, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think anyone needs to be demonized. It's just a different preference. I do think that the manosphere I'm gonna give it straight up. The manosphere happened a while ago, but it was also during the time of like the feminist movement, and it was really the safe space for men to learn from each other and teach each other. And I think that as women, if we are in here, we do need to have a certain respect for that, where it's like it's the fucking guys rules, you know what I mean? And whether we like it or not, I think the only way that it's going to grow and we're going to be able to have what we want, which is having more men being men, is supporting that. And I think it's happening. Like I said, like all 3 women in the panel, like I've been on many panels with them, and I think that we don't even agree on everything, but we definitely see the purpose of it. You know what I mean? We see the support that's needed, and that doesn't mean like grifting and like taking over and doing all this stuff. It means supporting it. I think that everyone's doing a really good job of it, and Kings, you're killing it. Like we've been rocking heavy for a minute now, and I'm like, every time you just keep on coming up with the kind of content that I tell other people that the manosphere is really about. Every single time I'm like, they think that it's still, I'm in LA, they still think it's misogyny or misogynistic, and I have to like break it down and explain like, no, there's passport bros are wanting relationships, and like going, obviously everything has its bad apples, but they're wanting relationships, they're wanting to like bring business and shit to other countries and provide for not only their girlfriend or wives but their families too, because a dollar goes a long way over there. You've got like red pillars that help like the youth and guys with game that might be like socially awkward and not being able to do shit, having a fucking handbook, and maybe that helps them. You've got black pillars that talk about status as opposed to game, and that works because then the man has their dignity and their morals and no one can fuck with them. Like there's an aspect, and then there's like the men going their own way. That's fucking dope too. Whatever it is that's helping these men become the men that they need to be, it's we gotta fucking back it up. So that's it. Sorry, why do you gotta like have a buzzard for me to like shut the fuck up, because then I just keep going, and I'm a girl. I like need to shut up.
Nope, you're good. I mean, if I trust me, if I felt as though you were going too long, I would say, hey, in the interest of time, don't worry about it.
I just feel like annoyed when I hear my own voice for too long.
Hey, it's all good.
It's weird. It's also weird to like just be staring at yourself on screen.
I know.
Because I'm looking for eyes to look
I know,
at.
King.
You know, and I'm like,
it's
oh,
weird.
and like, so
I mean,
I just
it's
start
your show.
looking.
I'm sorry.
I start looking everywhere else but the camera, because I'm like, I'm looking at myself. This is awkward. I'm talking to myself.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, but you know, Mika, thank you for thank you for coming through. And guys, definitely make sure that you guys subscribe to Mika's channel. I did post the link. Let me post it one more time.
And Ashley and the Raging Tomato and Kings.
I got this. No worries. I got this. All right. So there's the link right there. Definitely make sure that you guys subscribe to Mika's channel. And I appreciate you. And I know, shoot, you're almost like 20 minutes over. So thank you. But I appreciate you. Go ahead. Do what you got to do.
I appreciate you too. And I love your content. And I'm going to keep watching you grow, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. All right. Oh, man. And then there was the King and the Raging Tomato. What's going on, Sarah? So did you want to check out too, or did you have a few minutes?
I can do just a couple more minutes.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to see. I did see some questions in here. Let's see. Really, thank you all for coming through. This was good. Okay, yes. This was a question I was gonna ask you. And shout out to you, Primal Studies, for asking it. So in your marriage, you said that you came in and you were the feminine one, but the roles had transitioned and the roles never went back. I mean, if it's something that you are comfortable speaking to, is there a reason as to why those roles never reversed? I know you said you didn't want to let go of it, but why did it flip-flop in the first place? If you can speak to it, if you don't.
Yeah, no, I absolutely can. Well, I learned very quickly that he just, kind of lacked knowledge in certain things that needed to be tended to. And I won't go into too many details, but it was more like I'm like, why do you not know how to do this? Or like, why did you never do this? This needs to be done, and it started becoming kind of like, at first it was cute, like, oh, you didn't know that, okay, no big deal. And I would play the girlish game of like, not even like insulting him or degrading him because of it, but more like, oh yeah, I think we have to do this, right? But then it kind of got old. It got old really fast, and somebody who I do believe he's still a very intelligent man in a lot of ways, but he like lacked a lot of common sense or just the basic ability to actually take care of a family and actually do these things that need to be done. He's a great provider, hands down. He could provide like it was literally his job. But when it came to other aspects of tending to a family and things that need to get done, like he just didn't know it, didn't understand it, and could just couldn't do it. So once I kind of started feeling like he was putting me in the position to make those decisions because I knew about it and I knew how to do it and I knew how to figure it out, or I knew that we needed to get it done. Once he put me in that role, it was hard to step out, because if you're the smarter one in the room and getting things sorted through all the time, like eventually you stop checking in with the other person to make decisions. Especially when they just are agreeable. He just kept agreeing with me, like, oh, okay, if you think that's right, if that's what you want to do, then yeah, go ahead and do it. So like, why am I going to keep checking in at this point? And then when I am asking, like, you have no feedback, you have no more questions, you just say like, okay, sure. Like, why am I going to waste my breath? Why am I going to waste my time? Why am I going to waste your time? So I just kind of like grew into that role throughout these subtle stages. But then also on top of that, like very early on, like I discovered that he had cheated on me, and then that cheating like continued. But because he took away my right to be like that one wife, that girl to please him always, that girl to be submissive to him, to do all of these things. And this happened before my switch, before I started taking over things. Like, I was very feminine. I would have given anything. I would have done everything. I yes, sure, let's do this, okay, I allowed him to lead us. And when as soon as I found out that there was somebody else and somebody else and somebody else doing these things that are reserved for me, like the one girl who is taking care of your children, who is the stay-at-home mom, who's giving up her career in that moment, and that didn't last very long because of this, but who's doing all of those wifely duties, like, I reserve that right, to be the only person that you're gonna do these other things with. Like that's husband and wife. That's what we do. That's what, I'm giving to you, like you're giving to me. And so when he kind of broke that mold, why would I be feminine anymore to him? Because he broke the trust, he broke the respect, he disengaged with being the leader of our family, because a leader doesn't leave their troops behind, or a leader doesn't like betray or lie to their their followers or things like that. So because he did that, like that was another like kind of a tick on the chalkboard, to add on to all of these other things that were fueling into like losing that femininity. I had to stop doing it, because I had to think about myself at that moment, like, and what was best for me and my children, and what's going to work for us, and not for somebody who's not doing stuff for the family. Like if you're going solo, like, then we're going to leave you behind. And I have to like put myself in a position to ensure that I can do this independently. I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And let's see, I'm gonna try to find one more question before I get you out of here. Let's see. All right. All right, guys. Give me 1 minute. I'm just trying to find a question. That's an interesting one. Oh, that one was answered. Okay, you know what? As I'm looking, I have a question for you. So what would you say is what is your biggest fear? Because I think that like one of the common things that you, yourself, Ashley, and Minka a little bit alluded to was fear, but maybe more or less yourself and Ashley because you guys were married before. But what is your biggest fear of giving up that less dominant, that falling into that submissive role? What is the
giving over
biggest fear?
The fear of kind of giving up the reins.
Why?
Is that why am I afraid to give up the reins?
Yep. Oh, Primal has a good question too, but okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think I'm necessarily afraid of giving up the reins. I think I'm more afraid of myself. Like, because you have to think of these factors. Like, I have to truly trust this person. I'm entrusting my life and my children's lives in their hands, to make these leadership, like making decisions or protecting and being a provider and all of those things. And I do a great job at it, like I feel very confident in saying like I make good decisions for my household, for our children, like, or my children at this point. But like I do a very good job. I work, I run soccer mom style, my weekends are full of tournaments left and right. I pay my bills, I refinance my house, like I can do all of this by myself. So, some would say like, okay, well then why do I need a man? If I can do all of this myself. And that's the piece that I think I'm kind of afraid of is like, I'm letting you take over this role that I've been doing. Right. And at what point am I going to like truly trust somebody enough to do it as good as I did, or better, for that instance. Like I hope that they do better than what I did. And that takes a lot. That takes a lot of vulnerability. That takes a lot of opening up. That takes a lot of respect and trust and willingness. And have you ever tried to step back out of a leadership role? I think it's probably the hardest thing anybody has ever done or could do. When you go from making all of the decisions and plans and doing this and doing that and not having to answer to anybody but yourself, and your followers, and then suddenly you say, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and just hand that over and let you do it from here on out. Like, that's hard. That is very, very hard to do. I think for the right man, it'll probably come naturally, but I don't know. I'm just afraid of myself that I won't be willing to let go.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, and so I appreciate your transparency. So I'm going to get you out of here with that one. And so, what are your final thoughts on today's conversation?
Gosh, I mean, Minka said it so well. I actually, after she said her final thoughts, I was thinking to myself, like, how do I follow that? Like, I don't even know what else to add into it because she hits so many good points. But at the end of the day, I think that, you know, number one, I think a lot of people should just be looking internally first before they go external. You know, you can't come to the table uh, like in pieces. If you're in pieces, you're not going to be any good for the other person because, you know, all you're going to be sitting there doing is gluing each other back together, and that, like, you're wasting your time at that point, when you could be instead bonding, versus gluing yourself back together. And I think if people start with that factor, you know, like, start by looking in, start working on yourself first, figure out all of those wrinkles, you know, like, smooth out the wrinkles, figure out the issues, find out who you are, what you believe in, stick with your principles, and then from there, you know, then start looking externally. I think a lot of people, what I think a lot of the problems are people are going out there, like, trying to get relationships. They feel lonely, they feel this, they feel rejected, or all of these other things. But if you started by working on you first, that girl or that guy, they're just going to naturally come along, because you are going to now be secure with yourself. Your confidence is going to show. You'll be diving into yourself, your career, your education, or whatever your hobbies or interest levels are, and you're going to be a 100% complete person, and people are going to notice that. But a lot of these people out there, I think, are coming to the table again in pieces, or still trying to find themselves, or still have issues, or childhood traumas, or things like that, and expecting somebody to want to just be with them. Like, that's a baggage that people need to understand. You got to work on that yourself before you start trying to hand that over to anybody else. I'm not saying there aren't scars later down the road that you know, can get scratched a little bit, but yeah, I think if we all take care of ourselves to begin with, then we're all going to eventually be even better for another person. So that's what I've got.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much. You know, I appreciate you for your transparency there. So you had some good words there. So you thought that you wasn't gonna be able to pull it out. You pulled it out.
I don't know, man. Minka really, like, drove that one home. That was really good.
Yeah, I mean, you know, collectively, like, I'm going to actually, you know, break down this video, but, like, there were certain points where, like, the three of you guys really had, like, your hot spot on moments, if you will. So, you guys did a great job. So I appreciate you. I appreciate the three of you guys. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kings. Thanks for having us out on here. We always love working with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much. Enjoy your evening.
Awesome. You too.
All right. Oh, whoops, wrong way. Okay, all right. So I'm wrapping up, guys. But thank you so much, you know, for tuning in. And so, you know, this was a great conversation, and getting the female's perspective as far as when a guy is being too nice, right? So the thing is, fellas, I just want to say this: you don't want to put too much of yourself out there as far as being too nice. Always be courteous. See, the thing is people confuse the word courteous and good with being nice. You want to be courteous and good. You definitely want to be chivalrous, but not overtly chivalrous. Don't give too much too soon. That's the short answer, right? And also, you know, I appreciate these ladies' transparency as far as understanding how it is in the market of today's dating and things of that sort, right? Because men, we don't have it easy. And so I think that a lot of men are being too nice because they think that we have to be, or they don't know how to actually make sure that they are adaptable. Anyway, I appreciate you guys for watching, and Subscribe to the channel, Kings and Dreams. Also on Instagram, Kings and Dreams. And if you need consultation, email me. That's kingsandDreamspodcast@gmail.com. I appreciate all my moderators that came through, the super chats that came through. Man, I appreciate all of y'all and everyone that were in the comments. I got some questions about those sandwiches though, so that was funny. But so Self, I'm gonna reach out to you because I need to know what they talk about with those sandwiches, man. But anyway, thank you so much. Stay purposeful, and I'm out of here. Salute.